Hello everyone, this is Darren and I just wanted to make a short video to just show a few of the features of the Zello app that I found pretty useful, pretty well worthy of note. So I've just installed the Zello app here and let's open it up. And one thing is, first thing is that this notification that comes up here, I tap to allow Zello to stay online. That way, if a message or transmission comes in, I will hear it without having to actually have my phone open and have the app open. So Zello will run in the background. It does use a tiny bit of battery, but there's nothing to. It's not a major difference. So I allow it to do that. Right. So on the main screen, at the bottom here, you'll see you have these three sections. So this is recents. Contacts are individuals, single persons that you can speak to, including the test channel. So if this is echo, this is the test channel that allows you to hear what you sound like. So it's a good thing to use to check your audio. So if I click on hold the thing, echo, echo, come in, echo. Echo, echo, come in, echo. Alright, so you can test what you sound like. Go back. Right, so contacts, and here, the third section down below is channels, such as the group channel that we have. Alright. Hope I didn't transmit there. In channels or in contacts, whoever you're speaking to, up on the top right, you have a chat log here, a history, and that will give you a history of all your communications in that group or with that person, and you can replay them. So for instance, these are some of the communications I did earlier when I was testing audio, so I can go back and hear them. Echo, echo, come in, echo. Echo, echo, come in, echo. Right? So that's useful for if you don't have Zello running all the time. When you do open it and you want to get caught up, that's where you go. You go to the history. So for instance, here in MC, you can see the history. Well, not on this device. I will see the history of it on my phone because my phone has been running Zello for a while. Now, in terms of the push to talk, let's go back to echo. We did have a concern with where with the default settings, you do have to press the button in order to speak, but there is a voice activated option. So just so you'll see the difference, down in the lower left corner here, you'll see these two icons. Alright, so there's just the two icons, but if we go here up to the top right and we click on these three dots and we click on options, you see I have a lot of options here, and one of them is the push to talk buttons option. Now here you have a couple of options. So for instance, the normal talk button, you can decide whether you have to hold while you speak or whether you toggle, which is to press it once to talk and then press it again to stop talking. I leave it as hold to talk because I don't want to accidentally leave it open. The second option here, the Vox button, that's what we're interested in, the voice activated transmission button. So I'm going to click this check mark, show button on the talk screen, and it's going to add a button that we're going to see in a moment. In fact, let me just show you that before I show you the rest. So coming back out, now you see in the lower left, you see there's a third icon here that's popped up that looks like the waveform. That is the button to enable or disable voice activation. So how voice activation works, if I have it enabled, when I click here it'll turn blue and it'll enable, and then I don't have to physically press this button, the speak button, in order to speak. I just speak and it detects that I'm speaking and it transmits. So if I activate it here and I say echo, echo, come in, echo, come in, echo, 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 come in, echo, echo. Alright, so when let me switch it off. When it detects that I'm speaking, it'll transmit. Now we do have to change some options. You realize it was cutting me up a little bit there. What we do is options, push to talk buttons, Vox button, and the deactivation time. Down at bottom last option, the deactivation time, instead of 100 milliseconds, I send that all the way up to 2 seconds. That way it doesn't stop transmitting if I have a pause in the middle of a sentence. So I increase the deactivation time to 200, the activation time I leave at 100. And then when I turn it on here, echo, echo, come in, echo, echo, come in, echo, 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 come in, echo, echo. Alright, so that now, yeah, turn that off. So that now will allow it to listen to me for a more reasonable time frame. Another thing, I usually tap this, keep Vox enabled when screen is locked. That way, even if my phone screen isn't on, I can still use voice transmission with Zello active. Now how that works is you go to the contact or group that you want to use, that you want to be in communication with, and then when you're on this screen with the microphone option on in the middle, you make sure voice activation is on, and then you can turn off your phone screen. You just press the power button on the side of the phone. Yeah, press the power button on the side of the phone, and once this screen is the last screen that Zello was on, it will run voice activation even if this phone is not lit up. Now in terms of how we want to use it for like on a motorcycle, so with engine noise and road noise and so on, I have not fully tested that. We'll have to keep an eye on it. So if road noise is a problem wherein the microphone activates because of road noise or wind noise, we can reduce the activation sensitivity. We can send it all the way down. And there is also an option under audio. So there's an audio section here, and in that there's an option for noise suppression, which uses some fancy calculations to filter out like background noise. So that is something that might be useful as well. Again, we'll have to like test it under real use conditions, but you know, it's an option we have. So echo, echo, come back, echo, echo, come back, echo, come back, echo, echo, come. Alright, so as how I'm running this on my computer, the sensitivity isn't great, but this works really well with my cell phone. Turn that off. This first icon here in the lower left, that is the option for which microphone, is it? Yeah, for which microphone you want Zello to use. So if you have a Bluetooth headset connected, then there will be a third icon in this list for Bluetooth microphone, or you can use the phone microphone itself or so on. What else is there? I think that is it. The main thing was the voice activated audio. So that is an option if you want to avoid having to take your hands off the handlebars to press the screen. In terms of actually using this, that will depend on what your setup is. So for instance, I know I think Sniper had said his phone can come through the speakers on his bike, which is excellent. So he can hear transmissions, and then if there's a way that he has, I don't know if he has a Bluetooth microphone or a wired microphone that goes to his helmet or something like that, he can have speech as well, and then use the voice activated audio so that it automatically transmits when he speaks. So it's worth some testing, and we'll see how best we can integrate it. Another thing to note is default. Now what that is that you can set a contact or a channel to be your default transmission point. To explain, so for instance, if I hold on echo, a long tap on echo, just hold on it, it gives me options, and one of the options is to set as default. And what that means is that when I, like for instance, if I just have been talking to Zombie Moonwalker for a while, I'll be speaking to that contact, but after a period of inactivity, Zello will once again, yeah, see like that, it will once again pay attention to echo, and if I just prolong the shade and start to talk, I will be talking to echo rather than the last person I was speaking to. So if you set a channel or a contact as your default, then after any period of inactivity, when you go to speak, you will automatically be speaking to that contact or channel. So be wary of that, because if you set a default, then you might end up speaking to that person or channel when you don't intend to. So if that's the case, you can clear the default. So I long press on echo and come back out to the list, long press here, and it says clear default. So that way it doesn't automatically switch to echo, and it'll just remain with whoever I spoke with last. Alright? See, Zombie Moonwalker. So I would usually, probably on the ride, I will probably set NMKMC as my default, so that when I'm on your ride, that's the only group I really want to be communicating with. But usually you may decide whether or not having a channel or a contact as a default is useful. This third button on the, turn that off. This third button on the lower left, that is to drop an overlay button. Now what that is, that comes in handy if you're speaking to multiple contacts. So for instance, I can drop an overlay button for echo right here, and then I can drop another overlay button for another contact here. And what that does is that on my screen I can speak to either of them just by tapping and holding on these buttons. So I can say hello echo, oh, and tap to release. I can say hello echo, oh, or I can speak to my nephew. So those come in handy when you're having multiple conversations with multiple different contacts. I don't expect we're going to need to use that feature. So and when you want to clear them, you just hold and drag, and an X comes up, you drag it onto the X, and it takes the buttons away. Another thing that I just wanted to show you with Zello is the status. So when you have Zello running, so with the option I clicked earlier to allow Zello to run in background, even if I don't have the app physically open, it can still run in the background, or it still should be running in the background, which it will do on the phone. This is a different situation. But so when you have Zello running in the background and you pull down the shade like I have here, you can actually change your status. So here I am available, and what that means is that Zello will receive any transmissions from any contact or any channel that I'm in. I can also set it to solo, and what that means is that Zello will only receive transmissions from the contact or channel that I have selected. So if I set it to solo, and then I choose a contact like Echo and I leave Zello here. Or if I go to channels and I open the channel and I just leave Zello here on the screen, then if I'm on solo, it will only detect, it will only give me transmissions from that channel or contact. There is also busy, where it will not give you any transmissions. So those three statuses available, solo or busy, those can let you control whether you want to hear one person or any person at all, or any channel at all. Alright, so that's a useful thing to note. I usually have it on, usually I'm available, unless like I'm in a meeting. But what Zello does is that if I turn on the do not disturb, so I say do not disturb for 1 hour because I'm going to be in a meeting, you see that Zello automatically goes to the busy status, so it will not interrupt you. Alright, and then when do not disturb comes off, it goes back to whatever you had before.